an apologetic argument. First, let's start with an overview of the gospel. What is the gospel? The gospel is a core message of Christianity, a solution to a legal problem with God, and the greatest love story ever told. So what's the problem that we have with God? God is just. His justice is mandatory. If God is all-powerful, can't he do whatever he wants? And as we'll see, there are some things that God can't do. He can't perform illogical tasks because he is a God of reason and logic. He can't learn because he already knows everything. He can't lie, he can't sin, and he can't abrogate justice. So why can't God abrogate justice? If he is all-loving, why can't he just forgive us? His perfection demands that he punish moral crimes, and not doing so would be unjust. How bad is this problem we have with God? Let's take a self-diagnosis. Have you ever lied? Have you ever stolen? Have you ever taken God's name in vain? Have you ever lusted after another person? Have you ever hated another person? I've done all 5 of those things. And if you've done only one, you're guilty of all of them, and you will be judged by God. So God has revealed himself to everyone, and you don't need the Bible to be made aware of that. In Romans 1:18-20, it says, "For the wrath of God is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men, who suppress the truth in unrighteousness, because that what may be known of God is manifest in them, for God has shown it to them. For since the creation of the world his invisible attributes are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and Godhead, so that they are without excuse." So what does it mean? The wrath of God has been revealed from heaven. And if you look closely, you can see his invisible attributes throughout creation. And nobody has an excuse for not knowing God. So what's our problem, part of this legal problem with God? How can he forgive us for committing moral crime and still remain perfectly just? We will all be judged because we've all sinned and fall short of the glory of God, according to Romans 3:23. And what's God's problem with us? God is perfectly just, and if he's perfectly just, does that mean he's merciless? Mercy is a quality of being good, but if God is merciful, then he's not perfectly just. So does mercy come at the expense of justice? So let's look at the gospel as a solution to these legal problems with God. There's 3 elements to the gospel: the incarnation, which you celebrate at Christmas; the crucifixion, which you remember by the cross; and the resurrection, celebrated by Easter. During the gospel, in the story of the gospel in the Bible, Jesus paid the debt of justice for us so that we can receive God's mercy. And that mercy and justification is a gift received by our faith in Jesus Christ. Baptism is a symbol of regeneration. Being submerged in water is a symbol of our death to sin. Emerging again from the water is a symbol of resurrection and new life in Jesus. In our new life, we're dead to sin and alive to God in Jesus Christ. Baptism is a time to confess one's faith in public for Jesus Christ. And communion is a symbol of fellowship with God. It's done in remembrance of Christ, and it's done to remember the sacrifice that he made, and it's done to celebrate the promise of new life that we've been given.